mewing and posture are deeply interconnected, and people who get into mewing tend to fixate on posture from the neck up. But I think what you're asking, and I am definitely affirming this, is that posture from the neck down is deeply interconnected with posture from the neck up, and anyone who's doing mewing should practice all of it at the same time. Okay, so specifically, yeah, getting the posture from the neck down right is a lot easier than getting the posture from the shoulders up. So specifically, shoulders up is really hard. Shoulders from below the shoulders is a little bit easier. Okay, but when you can set the foundation of posture at the hips and in the legs and in your butt and in your arches of your feet, it actually sets a foundation for getting shoulder posture, neck posture, tongue posture right, which is super hard. And there's limits to how far you can fix your neck and tongue posture and shoulder posture, even if you don't have sufficient amount of oral volume. But yeah, it's all super interconnected. Did you have any specific questions about that?
So I guess when you mention kind of posture from the bottom, like chest down, so
Yeah.
how can someone practice that? Like what is like the main thing like we should be focusing? Like how can we start practicing that in our daily?
So that's a really good question. And when I say that posture from below the shoulders is easier, this is what I mean. Like literally, the primary thing that you have to do is you have to squeeze your butt cheeks. I'll show you what I mean.
Really?
So if you if you just so here's what a normal posture looks like, right? Like someone who's just kind of
Yeah.
lazy and like their spine sort of sways and their butt is kind of flat and their butt is jiggly because they're not squeezing it. And then they have flat feet because what happens when your butt isn't being squeezed is your legs kind of collapse in and everything is just weak and soft. But if you just squeeze your butt like this, you squeeze your butt, and what that does is it opens up your legs. So like here I'm not squeezing, right? Now I'm squeezing and it opens up your legs. It gets your spinal position perfect and it lifts your arches so that you don't have flat feet anymore. And then literally like you want to you want to be squeezing your butt all the time. You want to
All
be
the time.
engaging your glutes, and that's what gives you that firm lifted butt. And you should literally feel it. Like if you feel your butt when you're practicing good posture, it should be firm. It should feel like a rock.
Okay.
All right. And so you squeeze your butt, it gets your spine right, your inner legs tip out a little bit like this, your arches lift, and then that sets the foundation for here up.
So you recommend doing this when you're just standing, sitting? Because obviously I don't think you can walk when you do that.
No,
So
you
just
can. Yeah, actually, when
really.
when you're walking or like when you're barefoot running, which is something I do every day, literally with every step, if you squeeze that butt cheek, like okay, so now I'm stepping on my left leg, right? Squeeze your butt cheek, and what you'll see is that um, it gets all of the muscles from your feet all the way up to engage in the perfect way, and it gives you a spring. You actually like you spring forward to the next step. And when you're running, this is super important because literally when you're barefoot running, if you just focus on your butt cheeks and squeezing your butt with every step, you notice that your legs start popping, like you start getting a spring, like it's like boingy, 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 boingy. With each step, just squeeze your butt cheek, and it engages the whole leg all the way down to your feet, keeps your spine right, and you start springing like a rabbit with each step.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, no, when you're moving, you can definitely practice engaging your glutes. Because your ass is the powerhouse of your whole body.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like seriously, it has so much power, and the more you use it, the better it starts to look too. It gets super firm and lifted, and then so a way to practice that when you're not running or whatever is just standing on one leg too. That's a super good thing you can do. Because if you stand on one leg but you're not squeezing your butt cheek, you're super wobbly and out of balance. But if you squeeze your butt cheek, you know, it gives you much more stability and it lifts your arch, which is key. You know that you're doing it right if your arch gets lifted in your foot.
Oh wow, thank you for telling me that, because
Yeah.
I do I do work. Sorry. But thank you for telling me that. Like I said, because I do weight lift a lot and I do work out. And I just got a treadmill actually, so I'm actually gonna keep that in mind.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, in terms of weightlifting, you can really practice this doing things like deadlifts and kettlebell swings. Because what you're
Okay.
doing when you do those exercises, like with a kettlebell swing, you're literally just like, and you're squeezing your ass to generate the power. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that when you're doing those thrust exercises, that you're really feeling it in your glutes.
So do you recommend a lot of face, when you're face pulls to kind of strengthen the muscles up here to like be able to keep yourself up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like now we're talking about like the shoulders and stuff in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or do you just
that's
say,
way
or
harder.
okay, so anyone should just solely focus on, engaging your glutes and putting all that focus on there, and it's like a domino effect. Like everything else is gonna follow.
No, no. What I'm really saying is you have to do everything all at the same time, but that the getting your lower half right with posture is just easier because all you really have to do is squeeze your glutes and it fixes everything if you can just get good enough at it. But with the upper half of your body, it's way more the muscles are way more subtle and smaller, especially your back muscles and your lats and the muscles around your shoulder blades,
Right.
those are the ones you need to engage to fix your upper body posture, and that's way harder. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's way
Yeah. So
harder, but
people, we are focusing on a lot of the wrong things when it should always be the foundation. You know.
for sure, for sure. So like Andy Galpin, who's a famous exercise scientist, did a podcast with Andrew Huberman a couple weeks ago, and he said that it took him. He was doing pull-ups and rows wrong for 10 years before he finally figured out how to engage his back muscles instead of just using his biceps to compensate for weak back muscles when doing those exercises. 10 years he was using the wrong
Yeah.
muscles. That's how hard it is to engage your back muscles properly. You really have to focus on it, and you have to make sure that your mind is in the muscle and that those back muscles and your lats and stuff are being recruited when you do upper body exercises to make sure that they're getting stronger and that you're not just overcompensating with your biceps on things like rows like this or pull-ups, right? So with those, you want to really make sure that your shoulder blades are being tucked and that you're engaging your lats. So you want to make believe like you have wings here, right? Like your lats are like wings and you want to actually feel them and make sure they're being engaged when you do pull-ups. And one thing you can do to make sure that happens is engage them first and then do the pull-up. So instead of just doing the pull-up, feel your lats and your rhomboids and your other back muscles, get them recruited into the exercise, then do the pull-up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's it's really hard, but that's the way you
Yeah.
fix posture.
It's a lot of like now realizing it's like so complex, like you said, and it's a lot of like the little things that
For
people
sure.
really need to focus on. Yeah.
Yeah, it requires a lot of mindfulness. And then a lot of people
Mhm.
who view this channel, it's even harder because when you have poor facial structure, it actually causes you throughout your life to not use those muscles, because when you have poor facial structure, it screws up your neck posture and it causes you to have head forward posture like this, and then your shoulders naturally roll, and then
So I'm
all of
curious.
these all of these muscles get weaker, and then when you figure that out by the time you're 20 or 30, it's like, fuck man, those muscles are totally atrophied, and you got to really build them up from scratch.